Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. It's been a delightful couple of days for City, I would say. We had won the opening fixture against Wolves, and now we are again 2-1 winners over Bournemouth. I mean, in a way, this game was more of a challenge for us than Wolves, I would say. I mean, Wolves was a big challenge in itself because it was the start of the Premier League and we had to do well. Otherwise, we could never catch Liverpool. But then this game was a challenge because so many of the first team players were out, and we had another match against Leicester in 2 more days on Sunday. So how would Guardiola manage it? For example, Aguero is injured, and we just had Jesus, and he couldn't play this match. And in many positions in the midfield, in the defense, it was the same thing from back to the front. So how would Guardiola manage it? And Guardiola just went for the jugular, I would say. He went for the jugular in a trophy, which he really loves. I mean, for the last 3 years, it's like we are the holders of the trophy, and Guardiola absolutely loves this, loves this competition. But then he has fielded a youth team. He has shown so much confidence, I would say. I mean, the match was far from straightforward. Bournemouth, I would say, were really compact, and they hit us so well on the counter. I didn't see a Premier League. I mean, I didn't see a team from the Championship hit us like this in the Carabao Cup in the last 3-4 years. They were just so good. Bournemouth was just fantastic. They just picked those moments. They played really well through the press. So it was a huge challenge, I would say, for City's youth players. I mean, first of all, let's discuss about the formation which Pep started with. It was kind of confusing, I would say, because Adrian Bernabe started at left back when you had Benjamin Mendy and Nathan Ake, two players who could play there sitting on the bench. But then the strange thing was it looked often that City just left Eric Garcia and Taylor Howard-Bellis by themselves, and Walker and Adrian Bernabe just pushed high enough. Sometimes it seemed as if they were more far enough on the pitch than any other player, than even the attacking players. So they were pushed high and wide. So it was a strange kind of formation with, I mean, Tommy Doyle was obviously holding, and Rodri was playing in the midfield along with Fernandinho. Uh, I would say the first thing I would say is Liam Delap. Wow, what a finish it was! Excellent finish. How many times we have seen Gabriel Jesus get into those positions and not finish them against Wolves? Gabriel Jesus missed almost two one-on-one chances, but Liam Delap, not having anything of these, 17 years old, just comes. I mean, just goes on to the ball. First touch excellent. The finish is just out of this world. Even Aguero would have been proud of that. That was a typical Aguero finish, I would say, just curling it into the top corner without any hesitancy. It was just fantastic. But then Phil Foden was the one who was inspiring the midfield. At times, the midfield looked short of ideas. Mahrez was not passing the ball enough. I mean, he looked more often than not to do things on his own. So Phil Foden was the one who took the leadership of the midfield. He carried the ball through. He tracked back more often than not. On many occasions, you could see Phil Foden. Even in the 90th minute, you could see Phil Foden tracking back and getting the ball from the back. That's something commendable, I would say. I would say that it's at this age, Phil Foden is already, I mean, demonstrating those hugely commendable leadership qualities. He's not afraid to send out the message that yes, today I am the leader. De Bruyne is not there. No one's there of a senior level. I am the one who will take care of all of the thing, and he has done excellently well. I think Phil Foden himself would have created what, no less than 7-8 chances today, 7-8 high quality chances, I would say, and he had scored a goal, an assist and a goal. What a week to cap off for Phil Foden. I mean, still I know there's a match against Leicester City to go, but Phil Foden already looks supreme, I would say. So I mean, Bournemouth played really well on the counter. Like I said, they picked out moments where when to attack, and City were playing so high as is usual with City, and Especially Eric Garcia lacked a bit of pace, and they were playing so high that they were playing more high than usual. And David Brooks was again excellent. Just like Phil Foden for us, he just cut through City's defense just like a hot knife through butter. He was he was just so clinical in his passing, I would say. So Bournemouth, I would say, were good. They played better than a championship team, I would say. Uh, but then City's quality just shown in the end with De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling coming on, and City finally won it 2-1. So what I thought is, instead of just going over the overview of the match, since a lot of youth players have played, a lot of players from the academy have played, it's a big night for the goal which City is trying to achieve, for our youth players, for all of the things that City have invested into the academy. It's a big night on many fronts. It's a big night to fill the youth players with confidence that yes, if you persevere, if you train well, if you practice well, you will still have a chance to come into the first team. The doors are always open for those who are willing to try again and put in all the efforts. For those who are willing to be courageous and receive the ball in dangerous situations, the first team opportunities are always there. So that's what is a message which has been sent today. So what I thought was, we'll analyze player by player and see how they have performed, and what, and also I would state my opinion on whether I think they would be really able to make the step up to the first team, in the near future. Let's start from the back. Let's start with Jack Steffen. Jack Steffen literally didn't have anything to do. I think the goal which was conceded, it was shot through Adrian Bernabe's legs. It was just a clinical finish from Sam Surridge. So he couldn't do anything at all. So but the things which I saw of Jack Steffen was, especially in the second half, when Bournemouth really, put that press on City, and they really pushed City hard, especially towards the end. His passing with the feet, he's not flustered at all. His passing is really good. His long kicking is also really good. He plays those medium range long passes very well that Ederson is famous for. So he was really good in his distribution and his positioning and all. So Jack Steffen, for me, though you didn't know much about him in this game, he didn't have many big saves to make. He was not put under that much pressure by Bournemouth. But then, whatever he was asked to do, he did it really perfectly. He did it really well. So I would say Jack Steffen is like, he would he would really give so much competition to Ederson. I think it's the right signing which City have bought in, and it would just make Ederson better as well, and it would also allow Jack Steffen to grow. What I think about this signing is of Jack Steffen is, it would allow both of the players to grow. I mean, Jack Steffen and Ederson learning from each other. So for me, I think Jack Steffen has a really good prospects in the future, I would say. And if he continues to perform well, maybe you don't know, uh, he would produce a far more sterner competition to Ederson than expected. We might never know. The next player I would say is Adrian Bernabe. I mean, it was sad to see him that he went off injured. It was a very big night for him. It, I mean, he would. I can just imagine he would have been so much disappointed. A big night building up to this. He made his first team debut 2 years ago, and after that, I mean, he's played in a few Carabao Cup matches, but this season was set to be the breakthrough season for him, I would say, to take those final steps towards the first team. But then, I mean, luck would not have had it, and he was injured. But then he didn't look comfortable in the left back position, I would say. But then, fair play to the kid. Uh, that was not his natural position. But then, you know that Pep Guardiola started Phil Foden also initially in that left back position, played him as a winger, different positions, and then got him to play in that midfield role that is playing today. So I think Pep just wanted to test Bernabe's understanding of the game, and it was not going on. To be fair, it was not going on that well for him. He was responsible for the first goal. There is no doubt about it. He I think he was just settling down into that left back position. He wasn't settled enough, and he just went off, I think, fairly early, 35th minute. And then our very own Benjamin Mendy came out. So I think Adrian Bernabe still has quite a bit to learn till he comes to the first team. Maybe in 2 or 3 seasons, maybe I think if he trains well and performs well, he can come to the first team. The next player we look at is Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia, even though he lacks pace, wow, his positional sense is just excellent. I think that's why Barcelona really want him. They see him as a perfect heir to Gerard Piqué. But Eric Garcia was again excellent today. He didn't let the lack of pace bother him. Maybe one or two misplaced passes, which is uncharacteristic of him. But then overall, he was like really good. I would say top class. That's why you can imagine why he was starting regularly at the end of last season for us and was preferred over John Stones and Otamendi. I expect Eric Garcia to actually start. If Laporte is not fit, I expect Eric Garcia to start at Leicester City alongside Nathan Ake. So that would be really interesting. I would say Eric Garcia overall had a really good game. Made couple of great interesting blocks, I would say. A top game, I would say, a top player, top game. It would be really sad for me to see him going away from the club to Barcelona. A deal in the range of 18 million pounds has been talked about, and I think City will take it and he will go because the player has his mind set over there, and it looks hard that Eric Garcia will stay now. But again, whether he goes or stays, a top class player, a world class player in the making, I would say. Then the next thing is Taylor Harwood Bellis. Now Taylor Harwood Bellis had a really interesting game, I would say. He at the starting he didn't look as much assured. He didn't look as much prominent. It was uncharacteristic of him that he misplaced a few passes here and there. He used his pace quite a lot. Generally is really good at positioning and all, but then as the game grew on, he really got into the game and he was just supreme come the end. I mean, in the second half, he really, when City were bought under extreme pressure, he really responded to it well. He was like, wow, he was even beginning to show those leadership qualities towards the end. Taylor Howard Bellis also, I expect him to be in the first team, round about the first team this year, and make that breakthrough into the first team next year. He has all of those attributes, all of those qualities to really come into the first team. Kyle Walker, what to say? Kyle Walker it looks as if Walker is back to his best. I mean, pumping forward, he showed that panache, that passion, that pace, that physicality. You know, when Walker is at his best, he loves physicality with the attackers. He loves contact. He loves those shoulder barges. He's just an all action, all punching player, and Walker is certainly back to his best. That's what I can say. Got forward with purpose, with passion, with great enthusiasm, put all those crosses in. It was just fantastic to see Walker in that form. It was wonderful, I would say. Next is Benjamin Mendy. Mendy, for a change, looked more assured in his crossing, I would say. Because I know that he's back from ACL injury after 2 years. Last 2 seasons, most of them he has missed it. But this season, this match, he looked more assured in his crossing, in the way he defended, tracking back, his physicality and all. I think he's slowly getting to it, getting to the top level. I just want to see Benjamin Mendy get to that full speed. We know the kind of beast, the kind of player which he can be once he gets to that full fitness level. I think over the next 3, 4, 5 games, Mendy should be back to his top level. That is very much important for us because most of the space, whenever City play, whichever opponent seems to be down that left hand side, and Mendy is always left in space. If we can produce that great crosses which he displayed at the starting when he joined the club, which he displayed when he was at Monaco, which he displayed to put City out of the Champions League when City played against Monaco. I mean, if we can get to that level, we have a top class left back on our hands. There's a reason I think why Guardiola is persisting with Benjamin Mendy. Even though for 2 seasons he's been injured, he's been doing all those antics. He's not been as fit. Still, Guardiola is persisting because he knows he has a world class fullback out there. It's just that he need to be given more belief, more time, more inspiration than anything else. And is a great character to be in the dressing room as well. A very good personality, I would say, Benjamin Mendy. I expect him to get to that top gear in the next 4 or 5 matches. Now, the next player, this is very interesting. I would say Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle is someone who I really thought would make his breakthrough into the first team this year, and that Fernandinho is 35, is getting old and old. I thought Tommy Doyle would replace him this season, but I think since Fernandinho will stay a year more, I think next year will be the breakthrough year for Tommy Doyle. Again, it was very uncharacteristic of him. He misplaced quite a few passes early on. His long range passing was not at its top quality best, but that happens. I think, especially a youth player from the academy, you can't make more mistakes. You don't know when you'll get another chance to play in the first team. So much pressure. It's okay, but then as the game grew on again, he just got better and better. But defensive wise, he was always really good. I would say his positioning was very good. He just, I mean, glided around the pitch. That is the word I would use for him. It was so silky and smooth. He just sensed the danger around. He showed that tenacity and versatility all around. It was just superb, I would say. And his passing also improved. I think he should be in the first team come the next season. We should not sign anyone to replace Fernandinho and give Tommy Doyle a chance to do that. I think he really deserves it. We have got a top young talent here, I think, and we had seen most of those attributes today. And as the game went on, his passing also has been really good. The switch off play and all, which I sometimes accuse Rodri of not doing, he did it really well. He played those risky passes, I would say, as he grew into the game, which is so important when you're playing in that position. Now, the next player I would say is, Phil Foden. What more can we say about him? It's one thing to be a good player, but one of my friend was telling me it's one thing to be a really good player, but Phil Foden in this game was just inspiring the entire midfield of City. Was just driving it along. It was just he was just showing the leadership qualities in him. I think looking at Phil Foden, we have not just got a good midfielder here. We have not just got a top class, world class player here. We have also got a personality who has a character, who has a uh, enthusiasm to go into tough situations and put his hand up and say, "Yes, I am there. I will take the responsibility." You don't get those characters and personalities as often, and it's very good that at this age, at 2021, Phil Foden is just taking on and being that leader, taking on the responsibility, that mantle of that City midfield in this match. It was a tough night, I would say, not an easy night, and Phil Foden was time and again repeatedly unlocking the Bournemouth defense. Wow, fantastic performance, I would say. He's a man of the match. Again, that second goal, he had just shot of the rebound first time, and it was really difficult. Didn't even take a first touch, just shot from outside of his boot. I think it was just fantastic commitment from the young lad, I would say. In the 85th 90th minute, is running all the way back to get the ball and start another attack, and then runs with the ball all the way more than three-fourths of the pitch to almost set up Raheem Sterling. Wow, what commitment, what enthusiasm, what endeavor, what vigor to play the game. Fantastic performance, I would say. Now the next player is, Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez, I would say there was a bit of rustiness in him, a bit of disappointment from my side, because he he more often than not looked to do things by himself. Didn't pass much, especially in the first 20-25 minutes. Tried to go by himself, tried to dribble pass by players himself, but then after that, as Walker bombed forward, I mean, he passed the ball more often to Walker, and Walker crossed it in. So I think Riyad Mahrez, I would say he was rusty, but then in the second half he was again really good. He just grew into the game. Will be a very important part, I think, in the game against Leicester on the weekend and also the season. It's important that Mahrez gets back into form and is on the money, because he's a kind of player which can just run through defenders. What he can just take on and get past two, three defenders. I would say he's the best dribbler in the Premier League, at least in the top two dribblers in the Premier League. He provides that unique option to City. So I think it's really important that he stays very fit, and he gets back to his top gear as soon as possible. So Mahrez, I think, had an average game at his very best, and I would personally describe it as a below average performance, I would say, especially by his high standard. Mahrez is no doubt is a world class player. That's a standard which is set, and he hasn't reached it today. Ferran Torres is a very I would say is a very interesting thing. That's a word I would use, because Ferran Torres in the first half wasn't at all involved much in the game. I think he had a chance when he went almost one on one, but it was from a tight angle down the right in the first half. Other than that, maybe put in one cross. Other than that, nothing of Ferran Torres, because most of the play was coming from the other side, I would say. But then in the second half, Ferran Torres really grew into the game. That crossing, wow, those 5-6 crosses which he gave, each one of them was perfectly on the money. They made the goalkeeper work, I would say. They were either in the area on the money, on the spot, or they made the goalkeeper work. Made the goalkeeper come out, catch it, just made the goalkeeper think something about it. Wow, what accuracy from Ferran Torres when he's passing, I would say. It just needed a forward, someone like a Sergio Aguero, who just takes a gamble, who just goes for those chances, and City would have had maybe one or two more goals. Ferran Torres, I would say, had a really good debut game, I would say, especially in the second half. It was not his fault that most of the attacks were not down his side in the first half, but then excellent game again in the second half, especially for a player coming from a new country, young player, 21, 22 years, settling down in a new country, coming from Spain. It would not be easy, I would say, coming from sunny weather to a weather where it's always cloudy. It's not always easy, I would say. And Ferran Torres looks like he's settled in fast, he's settled in well, and he's already started this game. So he's come on against Wolves also at the end. I think he's ready for the next game, and I think Torres will start against Leicester City. That's what I feel. He should start. Now, Rodri was another player. Interestingly, he played attacking midfield, because today City almost played, I would say, a 3-4-3, I would say. So Rodri played in that midfield along with Phil Foden. Rodri, he was a bit creative. Again, didn't switch the ball enough, didn't shuffle the ball enough, which is always my complaint about Rodri. But apart from that, his work rate in the midfield was just excellent. Always went forward time and again. Rodri was more attacking, was willing to make those runs into the box more than I expected from him. So that willingness was something which really impressed me. His willingness to make those runs into the boxes, his willingness to attack the ball, his willingness to shoot, take shots, all of that. And Rodri has a damn good shot, I would say. That's been evident even in the previous game against Wolves and also in this game. So Rodri, I would say, had a quiet game, wasn't much involved in the game, and also with Rodri, the midfield looked a bit stable, but still the midfield lacked that attacking juice, I would say, that attacking prowess which terrifies defenders. That's why Guardiola took out Rodri and directly bought in Fernandinho. So I think Rodri had a decent game, I would say, by standards, but then that's not his usual position. And I suspect that Fernandinho will start against Leicester with De Bruyne and Foden holding. So that's why Rodri was almost given a full game today. But we never know. Pep, he could just play Rodri again. But it's all about uh, managing the squad, I would say, because we have a game against Leicester again in midweek. We have a game against Burnley away, and then again we have a game against Leeds United. Then again, I think we have a game in midweek, and then the weekend against Arsenal. So it's just a tough schedule. The next 2-3 weeks, I would say, for City, we almost play 3 games in a week. So it's, and most of our squad is not there. So I think it is I mean, it is very interesting to see how Pep manages the squad. How, because Pep, we know that he really wants to win the Carabao Cup. That's why he bought in Sterling and De Bruyne at the end. But then managing the squad is also important. The last thing you would want is a player, another first team player, to just go down injured. That is not what you want again. So it will be very interesting to see how Pep maintains that competitive nature in the squad, maintains that urge to win, but still but reshuffles the team for all the matches. Will be very interesting to see that. I mean, Liam Delap, the striker who started today, 17-year-old, he has been making waves. I think in one of the previous videos, I think we have been I've been talking about this, how Delap has great physicality, um, has great finishing technique, really links the play up well, would be a good prospect. But then, due to Aguero being injured as well, I think he has got his chance more faster than maybe he would have imagined. I mean, 17-year-old just running onto an excellent through ball from Foden, and the finish was just lovely. The finish was just from his wildest dreams, I would say that. Wow, what a silky finish. I think it was just lifted, curled over the keeper into the top right corner. Wow, Aguero would have been proud of it, I would say. All the top strikers, Thierry Henry would have been proud of it. David Villa would have been proud of it. Wow, what a finish it was. But the very impressive thing about Liam Delap was that his physicality. A 17-year-old, so physical. He stands at 6'1", but he was just giving it all game to the Bournemouth defenders. I think he's ready physically and mentally as well for the first team. He's just there. I think he should be given a place on the bench until Aguero is fit, and I think he's ready to even start as well. He's ready to even start a few Premier League games as well. His finishing technique was excellent. He was dropping time and again into the wing, into the midfield, and picking up the loose balls and trying to play players in. And since he's more physical than a Gabriel Jesus and also Sergio Aguero, I would say, he was. I mean, he was trying to impose himself onto the defenders. The defenders were occupied for him. I mean, occupied with him. And also, he's very quick. I mean, he's very tall, but he's really quick. That is something, a unique quality. I don't think you see that in players who are really tall, but he's deceptively quick. He's very quick, and he's also tall, and he's got the physical attributes. He's a good header of the ball. That's also what we have heard from the academy. So I think bright days ahead for Liam Delap, and I think he should once be given a chance over. I mean, in a match where we are like comfortable, 60th, 70th minute in the Premier League match, and I would love to see him start once also over Gabriel Jesus, just to see how it goes. I mean, because you could see all of those qualities in him, that yes, he's ready to just step into the first team. Showed no nerves at all. He just behaved as if he was just. It was just another game. It was just another day. I mean, was his usual self imposing with himself to the defenders? Was his usual self complaining a few things to the referee? Always getting into the referee's ear. Always was requesting balls, even though he misplaced passes and all a few times, not many, but he still had the courage to ask for the passes again and again, which really uh, shows the signs of a great player, I would say. I mean, it's not about not making mistakes, but then if after you make a mistake, are you down? Does it put you down? Or do you have the mentality to again ask for the ball and again try it? Knowing that if you make a mistake again, um, you would have let your teammates down. It would be an embarrassment. Knowing that still, if you ask for the ball, if you have the courage to ask for the ball, that's a hallmark of a great player. That's what your Messi do. Your Messi does. That's what Cristiano Ronaldo does. That's what all the top players in the world does, and that's what Pep Guardiola also likes. So overall, it was an excellent game, I would say, from a City's point of view. Not because we just, I mean, wiped the floor with Bournemouth. No, Bournemouth were really good in this game, but uh, I would say it's an excellent game because it really gave a great portrait of what City's academy is made up of. It gave City's academy an opportunity to really show who they are, to show what is the personality and character they are made up of. It was a wonderful opportunity for City's academy to showcase, do they have that personality and grit and courage in them to face tough situations. Because there were moments during that game where it looked extremely tough. Bournemouth were just picking up their moments and going on the counter attack. David Brooks was just cutting open the defense time and again. But then Tommy Doyle, for example, he readjusted to it. Phil Foden, for example, was willing to track back and help out his left back. Uh, Ferran Torres, for example, I mean, Ferran Torres is not a youth academy player, but then Ferran Torres was very disciplined as well. Eric Garcia and Taylor Harwood Bellis, for example, not at all flustered. So Liam Delap was just amazing. Each of those players, they displayed exemplary, great personality. That's what I would say. It was just fantastic going from them. So overall, it was just a fantastic match. And I think in the Carabao Cup, this is what Pep will go with. He'll play the youth team first, and then if things are looking tight in the 70th, 80th minute, he'll bring on De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling and see how it goes. So again, a fantastic night for us. Two matches we have won, and it really showed. Uh, uh, and both of the matches asked questions of us. They were not, they were not simple. They were tough fixtures, but then we came through it. That's what I'm really happy. No complaints at all today. Well done to all of the players. Well done to Pep for believing in the youth, and well done to Man City's academy. I just hope that we just signed the other center back as soon as possible. It's just that it will take away the uncertainty, and it will make the squad feel more and more settled. That's the only thing. So there are three voices that are being heard now. Koulibaly, I think, has gone down the pecking order. The first thing is Jules Koundé. I think he is the one whose name is being heard the most in city circles around Man City. That City are apparently ready to bid 70 million euros for him from Sevilla, and I mean, talks are that the deal is in very much advanced stages, and then City will almost announce the signing in the next week or so, I think. Or else the other thing is Jose Jimenez, but Jimenez looks difficult because a bid of 85 million pounds has been rejected from Man City, and Atletico are demanding somewhere in the region of 110 million pounds, which is impossible, I would say, to give. And also, I would say this could be an opportunity for the revival of John Stones. Because playing alongside Aymeric Laporte, even in the past seasons, he's always looked secured. It's like City's winning percentage is 63%. Uh, I think when Laporte and John Stones really played together. So I mean, not winning percentage. I mean, City's clean sheet percentage is, I think, 63%. In 63% of the matches, they keep clean sheet when Stones and Laporte play together. So once Laporte comes back, I think the defense should have a closer, I mean, settled look. I think Jules Koundé is the one who's coming to us. If there are any updates on that, we'll always have it on this channel. I'll come forward to you with a video on that. So over and on and all, it's been a fantastic couple of days for City, as it love for City fans and all of us. So fantastic way to look forward to the weekend, I would say. Look forward to the match against Leicester. So I would say is have a nice Friday. I mean, depending on whichever part of the world you are in, have a nice Friday evening, night, or Friday morning. And all of you take care. See you again tomorrow. Bye.